we go. Motivational Monday, kicking it off right here from Sundance Square. I'm your host, LY, and I'm so glad you've tuned in today. I've got some things I want to share that I believe will bless you. Hopefully I can articulate them in a way that makes sense in what I'm trying to say, the message I'm trying to get across to you, and has to do with my perception now of where I'm at in life, the state of mind, the state of consciousness that I'm in versus where I was at in April when I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. As most of you know that have been listening to this podcast, I'm in the state of Texas now. I'm out here in Fort Worth, and I've been working out here. Physically, I'm feeling great. Physically, there's no sense of any kind of effect of the leukemia. I've worked in 108-degree weather. I worked 7 days straight, 10 to 12 hours a day to get a job done for my customer, and literally felt like I could have continued to work every day at least another hour or two without being completely exhausted. Prior to that, when I was in California, before I went into the hospital, I was not even able, and you can validate this, others know that I could not even rake, let's just say, a 15-foot row in front of me without being completely exhausted, completely winded, feeling like I was going to pass out. I had no color to me. I was gray. And hindsight, looking back, I know what death feels like when death is coming on a body, because I experienced it firsthand. That was in California. That was in April. I went through chemotherapy for 7 days, spent another 3.5 weeks hospitalized. I was very productive, very positive through the whole process. When leaving May 17th, I was told that I needed to do 4 to 6 more months of what's called consolidation treatment. That's 1 week each month as an inpatient, and I would be doing 6 doses of chemo. Not quite as strong as the initial week of chemotherapy, but that being said, it still was strong enough that I found myself in the hospital at the end of June because of the side effects. And it was just a hard month for me, the month of June. So I had to make a decision. I said, I knew I didn't feel peace about going forward with the chemotherapy. I didn't really feel peace doing the first round of the consolidation treatment, but I went ahead and did it anyways. And anyway, that being said, it put me in a place to where I had to really think about what I wanted to do. I know I didn't physically want to go through that again. And so all I knew to do at that point was to pray. I got down on my knees. I basically said, I don't have the answers. I need to seek direction. I need to seek guidance. And at that point, I had a pen, I had a notebook in my hand, and a voice within me erupted like a volcano and began to speak, and I began to write. And so that voice has not stopped since July 2nd. But July 2nd, I was told what to eat, what not to eat, as well as the faith of this voice, whom I call God, had healed my body, and to report this back to Him. And so in that moment, I received the answer that I was looking for, and it really bore witness with what I already wanted to hear anyways. And so at that point, I was to live in a new state of mind or faith or consciousness. I was to embrace a new way of thinking about myself. I would no longer identify with leukemia as something in my present moment, but it was a part of my past. Just like today, I'm sitting here in downtown Texas. No matter how much I want to think about California, if that was, something I wanted to think about, no matter how much I said I wish I was in California, it's just not the reality. I'm in Texas, and I'm sitting in Texas. I'm here in downtown Fort Worth. I don't care if in my mind I try to be in downtown Los Angeles. It's just not what it is. Even so, with leukemia for me, that's an old state of consciousness. It's an awareness, it's a consciousness that I've left. And just like I've left California to come to Texas, I've left leukemia to come to healing. And my only reference to leukemia now at this point is to help others and strengthen myself as well by sharing what has happened to me. But it's never to relive that moment as if I still have leukemia, because by all means, a word was spoken within my heart that not even Lewis's faith, but the faith of God. And Scripture talks about the faith of God, that there's one faith, there's one God, one Father of all, with all, in all. And so this faith has healed my body. So for me to assume that I still have leukemia would be me not believing what was told me. And so I've assumed a whole new state of consciousness at this point, just as I'm in a whole new state physically in Texas. I'm in a whole new state of consciousness, which is called health, healing. And my only reference to the past state of consciousness is so that I can encourage other people that may be experiencing difficulties in their life, or my story in some way can help them. And so you might be thinking, okay, all that's cool, but what does that mean for me? Well, we all live in different states of consciousness. Some of us live in an awareness of lack, and some of us live in awareness of abundance. And our state of consciousness has nothing to do with our physical being or what we tangibly, physically, our five senses, either touch, taste, smell, hear, or feel, or hear, or see. It has to do with what you believe to be true inside of you, what you have assumed the feeling of on the inside of you. And by assuming the feeling of it, I mean you start having a new consciousness, a new awareness, and literally you do start assuming an emotion behind it as well. For instance, when I assumed the feeling that I was absolutely healed, it brought great joy to my heart. It brought confidence that I would live and not die, you see. And by bringing that confidence, it literally infused my physical being. And so, am I special? Is this just, a miracle that happened for me? Or is this the way that we can operate in our everyday life? See, I wasn't, thinking like, okay, I'm going to fast for 40 days so I can hear God. No, I just made a choice the day before that said, you know what, I don't want to do chemo. My day's been pretty busy. My thoughts have been pretty scattered. So I'm going to wait till the morning before anything starts in my day while my mind is still pretty much at peace. And I'm going to make a on-purpose decision to seek to hear God speak to me concerning my situation. It's not because I'm holier than anybody else or I wasn't even attending a church, you see. Now, I was doing this podcast, but I mean, if it was on merit, if it was on brownie points, then, I didn't have any more brownie points than anybody else. And so I'm here to tell you that it's not based on merit. It's not based on performance. It's based on the power that you and I both possess, and that is the power to imagine, the power to assume, and therefore to walk in our assumption. See? So even now, I'm assuming the feeling that although I am enjoying a couple days off, I don't like having days off, really. I like working. I'm a workhorse, but I've assumed the feeling that more work is coming my way. You know, I came out here, didn't have employment, didn't really even come out here for employment, didn't even know I was going to still be here in Texas. That's how amazing the journey has been this last month and a half. You know, we had plane tickets to go back August 21st. My buddy Brett, he's already back in California. He flew back August 21st. I'm still here because 3 or 4 days after being here, I put an ad on OfferUp for my services, in which I've done for the past 24 years. Picked up a job, got the job done, got more work from that job. And now, after about 2.5 weeks of working, I've assumed the feeling, just like I assumed the feeling while I was waiting for the first job to come. Now I'm assuming the feeling of waiting on this next job to tangibly appear in my physical realm. But as far as I'm concerned, I've already received it on the inside. And if you possess something already, then the next ingredient to finish off the recipe, really, it's just gratefulness. It's just me saying, God, thank you. I'm in a state of consciousness that says, you know what? I have abundance. I don't have lack. I'm lacking nothing. That's the state of mind that I'm in. Just like I'm sitting in California, I'm no longer in the state of I'm sitting in Texas. I'm no longer in the state of California. I'm sitting in the state of abundance. I'm no longer sitting in the state of mind of lack. Lack is not an option. Therefore, gratitude is the only thing to do now, and that's just to say, God, thank you. Universe, thank you that you are orchestrating everything beyond my wildest dreams. You're making everything start orchestrating. And even if there is some time between seed and harvest, the time frame, even in that, it's building character. It's strengthening me. It's allowing opportunities to happen in many different ways that maybe I was not even aware of. And so we never look at things as wasted time. We never look at moments as just fleeting moments. No, we make the most of every opportunity. We make the most of every conversation that we may have with somebody. We see everything as a moment that I want to capture so that it can be a breathtaking moment and you can leave an impact in somebody's life as well as they can also make an impact in your life, you see. And so this is the wonderful thing that we get to participate. This is the life that we get to participate in, friend. That it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be just going through the motions. I wake up, I go to work. Why is it that two people can have the same schedule, the same job, the same pay, go to the same place of employment, but two people perceive it completely different? One person's grateful while the other person complains. And they're doing exactly the same thing. Well, you see, that's the state of mind that a person's in. It doesn't have to be ungrateful. It doesn't have to be full of depression and anxiety and complaining, bitterness, worry, fear. No, it can be full of faith, full of optimism. You can see this as the best job of your life. And even if it's not your dream job, if you'll treat it as if it's your dream job, it won't be long before your dream job appears right before your eyes and you just walk in that. My time's up. I'm LY. Till next time, you've tuned in to God's Convo. Have a wonderful day.